All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the State Treasurer's Office for the official launch of the CalSavers Retirement Savings Program. This is a historic day for Californians. It has been a long time coming, and I'm pleased to be joined by all of these wonderful leaders who have been working on this program for so many years. Senator Kevin DeLeon, members of the board, and advocates, thank you for joining us here. So let's start by remembering why we are here today and what the problem is we're trying to solve. Nearly half of the working Californians are on a trajectory to retire into economic hardship, if they can retire at all. And we have a brand new statistic just released today by UC Berkeley Labor Center that half of private sector workers in California have no retirement assets. One of the biggest drivers of this problem is the fact that more than 7.5 million Californians work hard every day, follow the rules, and don't have access to a workplace retirement plan, even just a way to save their own money via paycheck. But we know now that people are 15 times more likely to save and be on a path to retirement security if they have a way to save automatically at work via their paycheck. So that's the premise of CalSavers that former Senator Kevin DeLeon and other leaders knew had to be the basis of the solution for our retirement security crisis. A very simple, portable, automatic enrollment program that allows people to save at work. So set it and forget it. So I would like to introduce the architect and author of CalSavers here in California. Introduce my good friend and former colleague in the state legislature, former Senate President Pro Tem Kevin DeLeon, and most importantly for this historic moment today, the author and champion of Senate Bill 1234. Without Kevin's vision dating back more than 10 years and his leadership in studying this issue, working with his stakeholders, advocating for this solution, there would be no CalSavers. So I'm proud to stand here today with you today and promise Kevin to usher this program through a strong and successful future. Kevin DeLeon.
Good morning. How are we feeling today? Great. I said, how are we feeling today? Let me say this indeed is truly a historic day. I want to give a very, very special thank you to our treasurer, the first woman of color in the history of the great state of California. I have nothing but the utmost confidence that Treasurer Fiona Ma and her team with Katie will lead this program to much success that will be emulated throughout the entire country and will serve as a model, not just for other individual states, but will serve as a model for Washington, D.C. So I want to also give a very special recognition. And again, let's give it up for our treasurer, Fiona Ma. To each and every one of you here today, good morning. To all the incredible advocates and activists who are present here today on the steps, to all the board members who are present here today, CalSavers, to Katie, who is our executive director. It's been a long road to get to this moment where we can finally celebrate the official launch of an incredible program called CalSavers. It is the most ambitious expansion of retirement security in the nation since the creation of Social Security, and the need couldn't be more urgent. We are facing a wave of millions who have not planned for retirement, women and men, just like you and me, but without the pension plan, without that 401k plan. The hardest working Californians will be faced with an impossible choice: to get by on Social Security alone or work until their bodies quite literally give out. Today in Los Angeles County, for example, home to the people I've represented for over a decade, there are more than 1.5 million Angelenos who find themselves trapped in retirement, with retirement that's looming on the horizon. And quite simply, they are not prepared. There are tens of thousands of employers who are unequipped to offer defined benefit or defined contribution plans. And big banks that sell retirement security products are more interested in protecting the profits and preparing people for financial independence once they leave the workforce. Now, this idea was born from my aunt, who is my second mother, older than my mother, and she's a woman who has worked her fingers to the bone as a housekeeper, as a waitress. And I am, which I found out, her 401k plan, her defined benefit plan. I am her Roth IRA plan. I am her IRA traditional plan. And I realized the story of my aunt actually is not unique because it's a story of so many millions of Californians. And in fact, of those senior citizens who live in poverty today, 2/3 of them are women. 2/3 of our senior citizens today who live in poverty are women. And it's immoral that women who brought us into this world, women who fed us, who raised us, who protected us, retire into poverty only when their backs, their shoulders, their waists, their legs physically give out. Because we know that Social Security will not suffice. It won't suffice to pay for the roof over their head, to pay for the medication or their food. Now we're talking about millions of hardworking Californians who again find themselves in a situation that they need government or family members or their children to take care of them. CalSavers gives millions of Californians a chance to sock away a little money with each paycheck so we can build the future we want for ourselves and our loved ones. It puts financial independence within reach. CalSavers means no worker in California gets left behind. It means a future where retirees can continue to play a proud and active role in our economy instead of having to turn up that living room couch cushions every time that bill comes in the mail. Here in California, we look out for each other. We stand up for each other. We back each other up. Bottom line is, we support each other. And in the wealthiest state, in the wealthiest nation in the world, we believe that everyone has a right to retire with dignity and respect. I couldn't be more proud to have authored Senate Bill 1234, the bill that created the CalSavers program, and to be standing here with my great friend, Treasurer Fiona Ma. I also want to give a special recognition to someone who's not here today, but the former treasurer, the predecessor to Fiona Ma, that is John Chung. He helped work with me too while he was treasurer, and I want to give him that special recognition. And finally, I want to say this. I want to give a very special recognition to my former chief of staff, Dan Reeves, as well as Lisa Chin, my policy director, who, by the way, is the first woman of color, first Asian American woman in the history of the California State Senate to be a policy director. These two individuals have been with me since day one for 12 years. And they went with me on those endless trips to Washington, D.C. to deal with the Secretary of Labor, to deal with the White House, to deal with the Congress, to make sure we can move forward with the necessary regulatory changes to change ERISA, the Employee Retirement Individual Security Act of 1974. Because quite frankly, this is something that should have been done in Washington, D.C. It shouldn't have taken individual states to move forward. But because we are California, because we lead not just the Western region, part of the United States, but we lead the nation as well as the world. California demonstrates once again that we will move forward with or without Washington. We will move forward regardless of who occupies that White House. We will move forward to providing dignity and respect to all the hardworking men and women who have worked their fingers to the bone. This is indeed a historic day. Politicians are prone to hyperbole and over-exaggerations. This is an understatement when we say this is truly a historic day when we establish CalSavers for all of California. God bless you all. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, we have a number of speakers who are going to talk about this historic day. Yvonne Walker, president of SEIU Local 100 and CalSavers board member. She is one of the essential advocates for the program dating back to the early days of the legislation. She ensures the voice of labor is heard in this program. My good friend, Yvonne Walker, president of SEIU Local 1000.
Thank you. Thank you, Treasurer Ma. And thank you, Senator DeLeon, for your visionary leadership and giving me and my members an opportunity to be a part of history. I will say, as great as this program is, the thing that makes me proudest. I had a grandson last year. He just turned a year. And when he gets to retirement, and because he'll have the ability to retire in dignity, he'll be able to think, my Grammy took care of me from day one. So I thank you for that opportunity. I'm proud that SEIU Local 1000 has been advocating for this program from the very beginning, over 10 years, and we have finally made it to launch day. I thank Treasurer Chung when he took up the mantle, when it passed in the legislature and the governor signed it. And I especially appreciate our good friend Treasurer Ma, because she wasted no time in ensuring the implementation of the pilot program to take CalSavers from a concept to a reality, and for leading the CalSavers board on which I am privileged to serve. Today, we usher in a new era for 7.5 million hardworking Californians. For too long, they have been overlooked by Wall Street when it comes to opportunities to save for retirement. The result has been to force large numbers of workers in California with little choice but to retire into poverty or to survive solely on an inadequate Social Security benefits. CalSavers changes this. We, my fellow members of the board, the staff who work on that board, we change this. With CalSavers, working men and women, old and young alike, can now begin to invest in their own financial futures through an easy-to-use, professionally managed retirement savings program. It begins to level the playing field for lower wage workers who haven't had equal access to the easiest form of saving, the automatic payroll deduction. This is a major step forward, and we should all do what we can to support the program. A secure retirement should not be an exclusive privilege of those lucky enough to have access to a strong employer-sponsored plan. Now with CalSavers, there's a path forward for millions of working Californians to retire with dignity and financial security that they have rightfully earned. Thank you.
Next, AARP has been one of the absolute biggest supporters of the development of CalSavers and similar programs in Illinois and Oregon. They have fought for legislation to be passed and then followed up with resources to support the public awareness campaigns to ensure CalSavers is a success. We are grateful for their leadership and partnership, and today we introduce Blanca Castro, Advocacy Director for AARP California.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Treasurer Ma. Our founder 60 years ago, Dr. Ethel Percy-Andrus, once said, "If we are not content with things as they are, then we must concern ourselves with things as they may be." And that is why AARP has been advocating in support of CalSavers from the beginning when it was just an idea. AARP was not content with the fact that 57% of California workers age 18 to 64 don't have access to save for retirement through their employer. Without an employer-sponsored plan, a person's only resources of income in retirement are personal savings and Social Security benefits, which tend to fall actually quite short of what is needed to be financially secure. Social Security benefits are much more modest than people realize. In fact, the average Social Security retirement benefit as of June 2018 was about $1,413 a month, or about $17,000 a year. For people who are disabled or an aged widow, it's much less. AARP could not sit back and do nothing. We concerned ourselves with things as they may be, and we helped mobilize our 3.3 million members in California to create a public-private partnership solution for the 7 million workers who don't have a way to save. And so today, we can all be proud to be part of a retirement savings program that begins to create a generation of savers. It is my honor to be here today and on behalf of AARP. Thank you, Senator De Leon, for your leadership and your tenacity. Treasurer Ma, we thank you for continuing to make this a priority under your administration. And to the CalSavers team under Katie Selensky, who has coordinated all the moving parts to operationalize a program that is indeed a historical achievement. But the work has just begun. Now we need to make sure that all California workers and their employers know about CalSavers and will take this opportunity to save for their future. Thank you.
Thank you, Blanca. I'm a proud AARP member, and my mother and father do only earn $18,000 from Social Security every year. As I said earlier, 2/3 of our estimated population of savers work for a small business, and small business majority has been a leader at the table to ensure that the design of the program works for small business owners and sets them up for successfully to facilitate the program for their workers. They are working with us every day to spread the word, and we're happy to call them partners. Here to talk about and recognize Small Business Majority is Mark Herbert, California Director.
Thank you, Treasurer Ma, and thank you, Senator De Leon, for your vision to get us to this point. We're incredibly excited about what CalSavers means for hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs and small employers across this state. My name is Mark Herbert. I am California Director for Small Business Majority. We are a small business, education, and advocacy organization, and we're dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs to build a thriving and inclusive economy. And CalSavers empowers small employers to do just that. CalSavers will provide a much-needed opportunity to small businesses that currently don't participate in a retirement savings programs. Roughly half of small businesses currently are not able to offer a retirement product through work. And as the Treasurer mentioned, roughly 2/3 of the millions of Californians eligible for this program work for small employers. And small employers would love to offer a retirement product through work, but there are three main challenges that they often face when seeking to do that: cost, the administrative complexity, and the fiduciary liability. And CalSavers solves all three of those challenges. It will also level the playing field to ensure that small businesses can compete for talent, that they can attract and retain talent, and compete with the very large businesses that have a suite of other products and benefits for their employees. So we are thrilled to support this effort. We are thrilled for what this means for California's entrepreneurs and California's small businesses, and we are thrilled to be part of this historic effort. Thank you.
Another amazing partner in helping to educate communities of both employers and savers is United Way. They are facilitating the development of leadership groups throughout the state that will be key to strong community engagement. They are longtime advocates for financial capability through their work on EITC, or the Earned Income Tax Credit outreach, and we're proud to work with them. Here is Peter Manzo, President and CEO of the United Ways of California.
Thank you, Treasurer Ma, and thank you, everybody. I'm the president of the United Ways of California. There are 31 United Ways throughout the state, and we work together on projects like this one. We're very proud of this. United Ways fight for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community here in California, across the U.S., and around the world. And we believe the involvement of all sectors, business and labor, government, nonprofit and philanthropic, engaged citizens, and policy advocates is required to address large-scale community challenges. This effort to close the retirement gap in California is a great example of that, as evidenced by all the partners here today. 1 in 3 households in California struggle to meet the cost of a decent standard of living, according to our annual report, Struggling to Stay Afloat, the real cost measure in California. As you've heard, Social Security alone is not enough to be financially stable in retirement. Many middle-class workers find themselves at risk of retiring into hardship, and the prospects are especially bleak or rough for lower-income workers who typically lack access to employer-based retirement savings options. As the Treasurer mentioned, we know what works. We know that access to workplace retirement option with payroll deduction and the magic of compound interest can help people save for retirement. And unfortunately, too many workers don't have access to that. CalSavers is here to help solve that problem. CalSavers is designed to be a trusted, simple, and portable lever to lift up economic mobility and well-being for employees and small businesses And as Mark mentioned, very importantly, for small business owners to better compete for and retain talented employees. California United Way's throughout the state are working with CalSavers team, with Small Business Majority, with AARP, with Unidos US, and other partners to get the word out and make sure that employers and employees of small businesses know about CalSavers. It is an economic mobility program. It is an anti-poverty program, and it's part of what we do in other ways to help families move up, such as help them access the Earned Income Tax Credit, avoid predatory financial practices, build credit and savings, access affordable health care and broadband, and much more. And what will success look like? Of the over 7 million Californians who lack a workplace retirement option, 2 in 3 work for small businesses with fewer than 100 employees, 3 in 5 are women, and 2 in 3 are people of color. Success through CalSavers looks like building a more financially secure present and future for those working men and women least likely to afford it any other way. California is a place of endless optimism and opportunity because Californians, with our diversity and our tenacity, make it so. And as the adage reminds us, and as Senator De Leon mentioned, as California goes, so goes the country. So let's get to work and let's show the world how golden our state can truly be. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 35% of our estimated population of savers is 29 years old or younger. This program is going to be especially powerful for them because we know that when it comes to investing, time is your best friend. Young Invincibles has been an advocate for CalSavers since the legislative phase, and they continue to be a key partner in spreading the word to millennials and Gen Z. I'd like to introduce Kristen McGuire, Western Region Director for Young Invincibles.
Good morning. My name is Kristen McGuire. I'm the Western Region Director for Young Invincibles, a national policy and advocacy organization for young adults. Our mission at Young Invincibles is to amplify the voices of young adults in the political process and expand opportunity for our generation. Also, you can tell I am a representative of Young Invincibles because I may be the only person who brought their speech on their phone. As we know, the earlier a person can begin to save for retirement, the better. Young people between the ages of 16 and 25 expect to retire at the age of 60 on average, which is 7 years sooner than full retirement age for Social Security. We also know that retirement savings is an intergenerational issue, as many young people are tasked with caring for aging parents as we enter the workforce or become stable in our careers. Today's young people are the most diverse generation in history, and we face our own unique challenges as we enter the workforce, begin our career, and with wages for young people stagnating nationally, it's as hard as ever to get ahead and make ends meet, let alone save for retirement, considering staggering student debt. With more than 7 million Californians, many of whom are young adults, lacking access to a retirement program at work, CalSavers will help ensure that everyone in the Golden State can start saving early and building a financially secure future for themselves. Young Invincibles is excited to take part in the launch of this much-needed program, and we look forward to continuing the work with all of our partners. Thank you.
Thank you. That's what I love about young people. They trust their technology. My iPhone jammed last week. So, Christopher Sanchez and the Coalition of Humane Immigrant Rights is newer to our leadership group, but represents an essential voice in this coalition. The coalition is an affiliate of Unidos US, which has been a long-time key partner to CalSavers, and our friend Marizabel Torres had a last-minute conflict. At least 48% of our estimated population of savers is Latino, and we are committed to serving their needs, not just with multilingual materials and events, but with culturally competent program design and outreach strategies. We are very excited to partner with Christopher and the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. He's the policy advocate for the coalition, Christopher Sanchez.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Sanchez, and I'm a policy advocate with CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, California's largest immigrant rights organization, representing immigrant families, students, and workers across the state. Today, we are proud to stand with Treasurer Fiona Ma and Senator Kevin De Leon to launch the CalSavers program, which will provide immigrant families the ability to create a pathway to retirement. Many immigrant workers work for employers that do not offer a retirement plan and which often find themselves working the years that they should be enjoying their families and loved ones. The CalSavers program provides immigrant families the opportunity to finance and secure their future, create a plan for retirement, and ensure that they can continue to live in their homes, pay for healthcare needs, and put groceries on the table. Far too often, we see immigrants who have worked their entire adult life in California and who are senior citizens go into poverty because they work in low-wage industries and are locked out of being able to pay into a reliable retirement fund. Garment workers, domestic workers, warehouse workers, car wash workers, and others will now have the ability to invest in their future as lifelong Californians. And today our message to them is, you no longer have to plan on working the rest of your life, because today we take another step forward in making the California dream a reality for you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have two more speakers, but without further ado, Katie Selinsky is our executive director who is excited every day about this program. Since I met her, her eyes light up. She loves it. She can't wait to get it out there. Today is the first official day, and without further ado, Katie Selinsky.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Treasurer Ma, for your energy and the enthusiasm that you've brought to the program in the last few months. You have been an amazing amplifier for our message. And Senator De Leon, thank you very, very much for having such a bold vision so many years ago and for fighting so hard to make it the law of the land. We have thought of that vision every day as we've worked so hard to make it a reality. And to the entire board, a personal thank you for your guidance, expertise, and patience. Four of you have been here since the very beginning in 2013. Yvonne Walker, Heather Hooper, Bill Sokol, and Ed De La Rosa, thank you very much. Special thank you to former Treasurer John Chung, who couldn't be here today, but who ushered us through a very important several years in the development. Today is a historic day. As the Treasurer mentioned earlier, the very latest data released just today by UC Berkeley shows that half of working Californians have zero retirement assets. We're here to change that, and it starts today. Today, we open to an estimated 300,000 employers in the state who employ 7.5 million hardworking people. That is profound on its own, as everyone has said. But today, we also want to share some very good news from the pilot that we launched last November. What we learned is very simple. It works. CalSavers works, and it's already working, in fact. Thousands of Californians have been saving over these last few months. People who didn't have access to these easy tools before are now choosing to save for their futures. We're proving that when given easy, low-cost, portable tools, people will do it. They will save. People of all walks of life and income levels are saving today that were not saving 8 months ago. And employers are reporting it's very easy, easier than they expected. In the words of Kristen Evans, owner of the Booksmith bookshop in San Francisco, quote, "What I love about CalSavers is that it is very low impact for me as an employer, but the potential impact for my employees is huge." I think that says it perfectly. Now I'm going to speak directly to employers now. There are 3 things you need to know. Number one, there are no employer fees, 0. Number 2, you have no fiduciary liability for this program. And number 3, we've designed it to be very, very simple for you to facilitate. Employers, the first step is with you, and it takes less than 1 minute to get started. Today, right now, you can go to calsavers.com and get started, less than 1 minute. No need to wait for your notice to come in the mail. Get started today so your employees can start saving for their futures and get on a path to retirement security right away. Time is our best friend when it comes to long-term investing, so the sooner you go to calsavers.com and get registered, the sooner they can start saving and the better off they will be, and you are the first step. Speaking of firsts, we have 2 very special guests with us here today. Lorenzo and Yolanda Harris are the owners of Janico Building Services, based in North Highlands, California. And not only do the Harrises run a very thriving building and janitorial services company, and not only are they delightful human beings, but they hold the distinction of being the very first employer in CalSavers history. When they heard about CalSavers through a Small Business Majority, they enthusiastically stood ready to be the very first employer in the pilot, and their employees were the very first savers in CalSavers. We've been grateful to hear their feedback along the way, and we've incorporated all of it into our processes and systems. So it is my great honor to introduce Lorenzo and Yolanda Harris.
Thank you, Katie. As was mentioned, my name is Lorenzo Harris. I'm the founder and president of Janico Building Services. And to my right is my business and life partner, Yolanda Harris. And to my left is our company area manager, Teresa Coleman. Up until recently, our company provided our employees with a very comprehensive employee benefits package. But because of the complexities, complex rules, and legal liability, it did not include a retirement savings plan. But we were keenly aware of the need to secure the long-term financial security of our employees. So along came the CalSavers Retirement Savings Program. We were, as was mentioned, we were the first employer to enroll in the pilot program that we just completed, and it has been a success. We enrolled in December of last year, and our employees contributed for the first time in January. I want to echo what has already been said in thanking and commending Senator DeLeon. Thank you, Senator, for your vision in authoring the original bill to create CalSavers. So excited was I when I heard about the program that I actually came down to City Hall to speak in behalf or to speak in support of the bill. Our employees are contributing and participating in the plan, and it has been, as I mentioned, a success for us. Now, I mentioned before there were some deterrents to our participation in a retirement savings plan, and CalSavers has actually addressed or removed all of those deterrents. And so now, the obvious benefits to our employees is that they have access to retirement savings that they did not have access to before. It's optional. They can opt out at any time. And it's flexible in terms of the contributions that they can submit to the program. But probably the biggest benefit of the program for our employees is we're actually in an industry that has inherently high turnover. So we understand that at some point our employees are going to leave and take another job elsewhere. The great thing about CalSavers is that when they do, our employees can take their plan with them. The portability feature is a great feature. For us as employers, it benefits us as well. And I have to say, when it comes to employment law, legislators typically have to choose between the interests of employees and the companies they work for. And in California, it's the interests of employees that usually prevail. Well, CalSavers is a refreshing departure from the norm, and that the program actually benefits all parties. And so from an employer perspective, for us, CalSavers removes all of the deterrents that we talked about earlier and that you've heard about in the statistics as it refers to small companies. It is actually simple to implement. It is low cost. And for us, because we're a small company, we only have 50 employees, we regularly compete against much larger companies. And so CalSavers helps us to level the playing field, if it were, when it comes to attracting and retaining good workers. And so overall, we are very pleased with the program. We view it as good policy, and it is a major step to helping our employees secure their long-term future. Thank you.
Don't go away, don't go away. I'm going to give a certificate to Lorenzo and Yolanda Harris, Janico Building Services, for being the inaugural members. And I predict you will be one of the major spokespeople for this campaign. So I want to give you a certificate here to recognize your unofficial role. There we go. Yep. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Very nice.
Okay. Okay, Katie. Where's Katie and board members?
Okay, here.
Come on. Come on up. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Thank you all to the visionaries, Kevin DeLeon, our advocates, our partners, and most importantly, all of Californians. As you can hear, this is a win-win situation. It is a big, bold solution that starts today. We, as California, are again leading the nation, leveling the playing field. And as I said it before, let's set it and forget it. Thank you very much.